Salute. Welcome to Wild Country Daily Entertainment. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Tonight this is going to be a quick one because it's getting late. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just want to share a couple of these articles that I found, and I just want to let you guys, know that way you guys are aware. Um, a lot of interesting stuff is going on in the world today. We got hackers, allegedly. We got allegedly, hang on. We got allegedly hackers that targeted municipal water systems in 7 states this week, FBI says. But before we go any further, do you remember back in 2021? Do you remember back in 2021 when cough cough was around, that C word? And back then it was, let me go check quick. Back then it was, hang on. Back then it was Super Bowl. The municipal water and wastewater facilities were actively targeted by hackers during the 19 pandemic. I don't know if you guys remember that. The FBI and federal agencies issued urgent warnings in 2020 and 2021 regarding foreign adversaries and cyber criminals attempted to exploit remote access software. Now does that ring a bell? Now, this new wave of infrastructure attacks is a much more centralized, geopolitically driven effort, allegedly. Primary suspects, this is what they're saying. Iran. U.S. intelligence allegedly and federal investigators strongly suspect Iran affiliated cyber actors are behind the massive coordinated breaches affecting over 30 water facilities in Minnesota and in Minnesota and systems in at least 6 other states, including Michigan and Georgia. The escalation is tied to current geopolitical tensions and a 6-month-old military conflict involving Washington and Tehran. So they're two different, yes, we had this before back in 2020 and 2021. It was during the Arizona Cardinals Super Bowl. Now, I'm going to go over this article for you. That way you can get more in depth of what's going on. This is from MSN. They say, I need to quit smoking. My breathing is terrible. I can't take a deep breath hardly sometimes. It's just, I need to slow down. But anyhow, this is from MSN. Allegedly, cyber attacks targeting municipal water systems have been reported in at least 7 states this week, prompting the FBI and Environmental Protection Agency to warn utilities nationwide that hackers are trying to disrupt critical water infrastructure. And it's not like our water isn't tainted already because of all the chemicals that they produce up in the sky from them trails. You know, all them chemicals, when it rains and snows, it falls down into our gardens, our water, systems, our creeks. So it's not like it's already not tainting, but let's get back on this subject. In the public, and I can't see chat, so whoever's in chat, salute, I'm sorry. But every time I read chat, I get distracted. Now, when I'm just doing a regular live, vertical live, I'm good, because I'm talking and I'm talking to other people. But when I'm doing this, I don't want to get distracted. I want to get the stories out, let you guys know what's up. That way you guys are aware of what's going on. So let me get back. They say in a public service announcement Thursday, the agency said water and wastewater utilities have reported incidents to the FBI, allegedly, with some malicious activity degrading water operations. They say the announcement does not name the states. They also say the warning comes after hackers targeted more than 30 municipal water facilities in Minnesota. They go on to say it was in an attack that had hallmarks of Iranian meddling, according to a law enforcement official. It is still under investigation. They say in an email this week, a spokesperson for Minnesota's Information Technology Services Agency said there were no indication the breaches contaminated any municipally water supply. You think they would tell us? I mean, how much stuff in the world today do they hide from us? That's why, these platforms are becoming mainstream news, because regular news, they're not giving us every bit of detail. We got it. Yeah, they give us a little bit piece of snippet here and there, but we got to do the work and go and research more of what's going on from other sources. I mean, I would hope they would tell us, but you know how they are. So they go on to say the new federal advisory said the malicious cyber actors, or MCAs, targeted specific brands of control systems used by municipal water utilities. So maybe ours weren't affected in Pennsylvania where I am, because ours is like an older system. We have an old town. Like I said, there's hardly anything in this town that's old. It's fallen apart. So, maybe our municipal water utilities didn't get affected, but other people, bless your heart, be careful. They go on to say the warning highlights the vulnerability. See, I can't pronounce some words, so sorry, my bad. Of some U.S. infrastructure systems to meddling by adversaries at a time when the conflict in Iran is escalating. Military and the U.S. has been unable to find a way out of the war. It started along with Israel. Excuse me? Excuse me? Are you serious? Wow. You know, none of these countries, even us, even need to have a war. But their big head, you know, their big politician heads get in the way of their asses. And what I mean by that is they think they can push people's buttons through the citizens of these countries. If we would just mind our business and do what's good for our country, and they mind their business and do what's good for their country, and all the other countries follow in suit, we wouldn't even have to have war. So, come again? Oh my gosh. What do these buttons do? Yeah, that's exactly what I say. What? You know what I mean? Okay, let's go on to the next article. You get the drift of that. So just be careful drinking water. Uh, you know, if you want to go as far as to get it tested, fine. If you're not worried about it, okay. But I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you guys know, that way you guys are aware, like I said. So let's go to the next one. Shall we? Okay, now. Back here. Yeah, I know. We have bots all the time. And I'm not worried about the bots right now. That they're nothing, you know. Now this is nuts. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. This right here is crazy. Again, here's another thing that happened. Oh my. Here's another thing that happened a couple years back. Okay, remember I said about 2020 and 2021 for the water systems getting hacked? Well, guess what? Back in 2020 and 2021, Cuba were having problems with their power back then too. Now, back in 2020 and 2021, the threat actors responsible for that year's no, that's not it. Hold on, sorry. Where is that at, dude? Hang on. My bad. I was wrong. Yes, Cuba experienced multiple total power grid failures before 2026. The most notably a catastrophic island-wide blackout in October 2024. And I remember hearing about that. And the country's energy grid has continued to suffer, cascading collapse through 2025 and into 2026. Most of Cuba's thermoelectric power plants are Soviet-era facilities that are over 30 to 40 years old. They have suffered from decades of underinvestment and deferred maintenance. Critical fuel shortage. The October 2024 catalyst, the first massive nationwide blackout occurred on October 18th, 2024, when the Antonio Guterres power plant, the island's largest electricity provider, unexpectedly failed and triggered a total system shutdown. Now, my point is, as of August 2026, they are once again facing its worst energy crisis in decades, suffering its sixth total nationwide grid collapse of the year just yesterday. Again, there is no hacker involvement. Now, I don't know if this clip is going to say anything about, yeah, I think it will. Let's take a listen.